old. He just paused, walked off the approach, and now he's ready. The left-hander, 6'2", 160 pounds. You know, as he told me in the interview that his knees were knocking or shaking, I don't think so.
Well, Chris, he's a very cool performer, and with a swing like that, he's never in great trouble. He might find a week where he can't get his timing right or he can't adjust to the angle for him on that condition. But when he finds that angle, he's never too far away from the pocket.
Bob-Knipple, first stroke. It's the 410 for Bob-Knipple of Long Beach, California.
Tough break for Bobby just starting out, especially with Dave with a strike up. So oftentimes when a player will get a split, and he's going to go for it boldly.
Ooh. Capacity crowd here at the Valero Lanes truly believed, with the ball 3/4 of the way there, that he was going to convert it. It's an open. Now over to lane 61, shooting in the second frame.
He's quickly down by 11. And as we mentioned, so often when you have an open, your opponent will come back with a double.
Came up just a little high, but still gets his strike. Bob-Knipple, 24 years old, and so is his opponent, Dave Davis. Here's Dave Davis, the tournament leader. The leading money winner with $16,470 thus far this year, going for a double. Leaving the 6-pin on lane 62.
And that was it, Chris. He really wanted to get that double and get that jump. He reached out on that ball and gave it those extra fingers, which made the ball break a little sharper than he would like. Dave gets an awful lot of power in the shot, Chris, from that long arm and the free swing.
This is the boy that won the PBA National Championship in 1965. He's won at Salt Lake. He has 4 PBA championships, including back-to-back wins this year at Las Vegas and at Denver.
You see how carefully he sets himself.
Powerful. You're looking at Dave Davis, tall and lanky. Short and powerful is Bob-Knipple, his opponent, as they go for the $10,000 first prize. Difference of 5, winning or losing. Difference of 11 pins at the moment. The 7-pin.
Well, he wanted that double badly to get right back to even. Bobby, of course, not having won a tournament, would very much like to win this game and then automatically be qualified for the Firestone Tournament of Champions. So this game could be a $35,000 game.
Tournament champions will be televised, the finals, on April 1st, live and in color from Akron, Ohio. Next week, it'll be the Ebonite Open from Edison Lanes, and the Buffalo Open from Depew, New York, and then the Tampa Bay Open from Tampa, the Mobile Open from that Alabama city.
And at Mobile, after the tournament, they're having a National Celebrity Pro-Am.
High again. It's the 6-pin for Bob-Knipple. This is the final match. The first match, if you just joined us, was between Bill Tucker and Bud Horn, Tucker winning it. Tucker then moved in against Bob-Knipple and was defeated. Knipple then moved up against the number 2 finisher, Dick Weber, beat him. Knipple has 2 games, 225 and 205. And now he's going against the tournament leader, Dave Davis. There you see Davis's lead. Davis was 9th last week in Toledo. And it's a double for Dave Davis of Phoenix, Arizona. Father of one. That was Mrs. Davis. Mrs. Davis has to be one of the most ardent rooters of a husband of any female I've ever seen. Well, she's in there cheering every minute.
Right, when he released the ball that time, she said, hurry. She didn't think the hook would get back.
The 1, 5, and the 8 remain standing. Correction, the 3, 5, and the 9. I'll get it right yet. 1, 3, and 9. About that 20-20, Billy.
Well, Chris, when the left-hander comes in, automatically you've got to do a little transposing.
Yeah. Nevertheless, Dave Davis did cover those 3 pins, and he stays clean this final game with a spare in the 5th. Now it's Bob-Knipple, who opened in the 1st on a strike, 2 spares, now shooting in the 5th. Big strike for Bob-Knipple. 19 pins separating these 2 bowlers. Trailing is Bob-Knipple. Yes, we're live from Wauwatosa, Wisconsin.
Got a lucky break there, Chris. Again, going too direct and a little slow on that lane. Breaks up that split. Very fortunate. Being behind, he could have gone back to 30 pins behind. It's getting late in the match, already into the 6th frame. Dave with a 19-pin lead. Reaches out strong. Too strong again, Chris. Got a lot of lift and it made the ball break way too sharp.
So things will tighten up here as a result of that 4-6. If we were in color, you could see a brilliant orange shirt. We're not in color, but we're sure live.
Goes for the 1. Cuts his margin to 6 pins.
This is the final match, worth $10,000 to the winner. The loser, $5,000.
The place is becoming very quiet. As we reach the final frames, you can hear a pin drop.
Leaving the 7-pin. ABC stop action of that last stroke by Dave Davis of Phoenix, Arizona.
You're going to see a lot of power. The ball comes sweeping into the pocket, but from that wide angle, the 4-pin does not come back off. It lays down and leaves a 7.
Dave Davis waited in the wings for the first 3 matches as a result of his having bowled 40 games better than any of all the professional competitors here in the Miller High Life Open. Finishing last night as the tournament leader with Weber 2nd, Knipple 3rd, Horn 4th, and Bill Tucker 5th. Knipple now has won 2 matches and is in the finals against Davis. The 7-pin for Bobby Knipple. Since Bobby is making his first extended tour of the PBA this year, since San Jose, Bill, I have noticed a great deal of confidence in him. He has gained a great deal in a few tournaments.
Chris, when you get up against the top players in the game for that much money and on network television, and you survive the pressure, you get great experience, and in the future weeks you benefit from that experience.
Which could go into the amateur ranks or the people that bowl for recreation or just fun. The more they bowl, the better they'll get.
That's right, Chris.
So get out there and bowl.
Not much trouble there, Chris. The 2-pin, those single pins, the boys don't miss too often.
Another spare for Bob-Knipple coming in the 8th frame. Dave Davis opened with a strike, then a spare, a double, a spare unopened, and a spare. And there you see his lead, ever so small when you consider the difference of winning or losing. $5,000 here. The 6-pin, Dave Davis.
Chris, evidently lane 62 finishes a little more for Dave from the opposite side because he shows a little fear of the hook on the ball when he releases it. That time he was showing some emotion that the ball might leave him another split. Left-handers have it pretty much their own way over on that left-hand side, Chris. Since there's very little play, they have to change their angles very little. On the right-hand side, the boys have to stay pretty much in that track, and since there's more play, the lane conditions vary more.
Billy, how many left-handers are there on the tour actively?
Well, we've got about 20 from week to week. We have about 8 or 9 regular touring left-handers now.
Dave Davis getting a strike in that 9th frame. And now Bob-Knipple. He's off the bench. He'll be shooting in the 9th. This, the final match, and it's live from Wauwatosa, a suburb of Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Late in the game, he's going to work again, Chris. Down by 7.
You'll recall that in his previous match against Dick Weber, he just bowled 3 strikes to end it all.
And he's finishing on the same lane in the 10th frame that he finished on against Weber.
Right.
Both have a strike in the 9th, 7 pins down.
The 2, the 4, and the 5 for Bob-Knipple on lane 61.
Well, Chris, trust is a must or your game is a bust. And trust he did, but he didn't get the good fingers.
There you see the 2, 4, 5.
He really did want an open frame there. Now he still has a chance to win. If he counts well on this ball, then Dave Davis needs to mark in the 10th. There you see it, Bob-Knipple down by 7.
Hyde leaving the 6-pin. And the people here in Wisconsin greatly appreciate Bob-Knipple's efforts. A 185 here in the final game against Dave Davis.
Chris, Dave needs a mark.
He has not yet received the mark as we look at Mrs. Dave Davis.
Chris, it's the same spare that Knipple had. That's the 3, the 5, and the 6 for the left-hander, the 2, 4, 5 for the right-hander, and the same danger. If the ball hooks through there too much, he could leave the 5. But he didn't want to go through the nose, only needing a mark.
Dave Davis of Phoenix, Arizona. Little worried whether he would catch the 3, 5, and the 6, but needless to say, he did, and he marked in that 10th frame. Immediately following Pro Bowlers Tour, it'll be international surfing from Makaha Beach, international ski jumping from Garmisch, Germany, a special presentation to Joe Dye of the USGA by the New York Metropolitan Golf Players Association. Jim Ryan setting a new world's indoor record for the half mile and world speed skating. All this on Wide World of Sports, and all that in the final match. As you see, it's a 7-pin victory for Dave Davis. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's all over. Dave Davis has won his 3rd PBA championship this year, but not until he'd had a hard battle from this likable guy from Long Beach, California. And for losing Bobby, this is not a bad payday, $5,000. There it is.
Thank you, Chris. I want to say Dave Davis is one of the greatest bowlers that I've ever known. Thank you.
You're very gracious. Bobby Knipple of Long Beach, California. And now let's meet the Miller High Life Open winner, Dave Davis. Nice going. Mr. Charles Miller, the Chief Executive Officer of the Miller Brewing Company, is here with a lot in his hand. Mr. Miller?
Pleasure. Pleasure indeed, Dave. It's a great situation that we can give you this $10,000 in the champagne bucket from the champagne beer. It's cashable. Congratulations again.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. And thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And I'd just like to thank the Miller High Life Company and the people here at Bolero Lanes for sponsoring the tournament. Chris, it's a pleasure being here. Really.
Good luck, Dave, and congratulations. That's it, ladies and gentlemen, from Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. And here we'd like to thank our executive producer on Pro Bowlers Tour, Rune Arledge. Also, our thanks to the executive director of the Pro Bowlers Tour, Eddie Elias, and to the Bolero Lanes in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The prize monies were furnished by the PBA and the Miller Brewing Company and the Bowling Proprietors Association of Milwaukee. Our next stop on Pro Bowlers Tour is Edison, New Jersey, and ABC Sports will be bringing you the final rounds of another great PBA tournament, the Ebonite Open. That is 1 week from today. The executive producer of Pro Bowlers Tour is Rune Arledge. The Miller High Life Open was produced by Ned Steckel and directed by Mike Friedman. Associate Director, Ed Nadell. Technical Director, Walt Kubelis. Lighting Director, Tony Azzolino. And now this is Chris Schenkel speaking, saying so